Hi, and welcome back to an amazing episode of the Find Your Views podcast. Today, we are thrilled, absolutely thrilled to have a new friend of ours who's also a marketing nerd, Kelsey. Welcome, welcome, welcome. You are not only also a podcast host, but a marketing genius, a teacher, and also just an incredible badass that makes marketing fun. And we are really, really excited to dive in today. Welcome to Find Your Views, the podcast and community for women who know they're meant for more.
We're your hosts, Brooke and Kelly, two founders, two entrepreneurs, and two best friends who are figuring it out just like you. Because if you have found that success is anything but a straight line, then you're in the right place.
Join us each week as we go through all things business and all things real life.
We're going to bring you along for the highs, the lows, and everything in between.
Grab your drink, get comfy, and get ready for a chat with your new best friends.
Let's like this shit.
Well, I am so excited to be here on your podcast. So thank you for having me. And I just love meeting others. We met in a mastermind, the three of us. So it's just always nice because you know that if you put yourself in that room, you probably have so much in common right off the bat. So yeah, excited to kind of get to know each other on the mic today.
Yes, thank you. For anyone listening, we are going to be diving into just all things marketing in this conversation, which will be really fun since we do marketing. Kelsey does marketing. So if you are a business owner who's also in marketing, you can kind of pretend you're yapping with us. Or if you're a business owner who doesn't understand marketing and need more ideas on how to make it more fun, how to make it more aligned and profitable again, this is your episode.
Amazing. Well, Kelsey, just for us and really for everyone listening, just tell us a little bit about you. Like, what makes you tick?
Absolutely. So first off, I am a mama of a busy 2-year-old. I am a mountain biker. I love to race my mountain bike in the summer here in Canada. And I am also a marketing nerd. Marketing is always changing, so I hesitate to ever call myself an expert because even though I've been in this field for 15 years, I feel like, I'm always keeping up with what's going on, where is attention right now, and how can we show up and create marketing that feels good, that shares the solutions that businesses offer to their clients in a genuine way. And I started my career in experiential marketing. So I traveled around Canada setting up these activations and tents at the end of races, giving out samples and really feeling like it was so genuine to talk to someone and say, have you tried this product? Would you like to talk to me about it? Oh my gosh, come on into the tent and enjoy. And then I slowly transitioned to digital marketing where it felt a little bit more like, who am I even talking to? Social media sometimes can feel like a one-way conversation. And I really started to reflect on how can I bring that experiential in-person feel of community and enjoyment and fun and interaction with a brand into the digital world and build out strategies that are not just a cold outreach and just pitching people on a service or a product, but instead make people feel something and like have fun in the process. Because what is this all for if we absolutely hate our business? We hate our marketing plans. So that's never my goal when I'm working with a client. And yeah, so that's what I focus on today. And I really try to reduce the overwhelm that people feel when they hear the word marketing.
I love that. And honestly, I think that's really a fun conversation. We can kind of even dive in deeper there because I know you, and you kind of touched on it too. Like social media, A, can totally feel like a one-way conversation. And B, it is always changing. Like you said, like there's constantly something new that the algorithm wants from you or doesn't. And now it hates this or whatever it may be. So for anyone listening who feels overwhelmed with marketing and feels like the second I figure something out, it changes and I have to start from ground zero again. What is your best advice, tips, and tricks for finding balance with being chronically online so that you know what the heck is going on in the space so you can stay up to date, but also like having a life and not feeling tethered to social media?
Absolutely. The first thing I would say on that is that I think there's this preconceived notion that we all have to be using Instagram. We all have to be on Pinterest. Everyone needs an email list. Like how many times have we heard that you must have an email list because that's the only audience that you own? But the truth is there's not one platform that every business has to be on because all of our audiences are so nuanced, right? A business like a plumber, for example, the advice of make sure you have a Pinterest account is completely irrelevant because we know that the way a business like that operates is totally different from a content creator or somebody who's building a personal brand. So I always like to lead in with the fact of like, there is no one size fits all strategy. And the other thing that I would lead in with too is if you're feeling overwhelmed with marketing, it's probably because you are doing something that I call scatterbrain marketing. It's like you have 30 minutes a day and you're like, I should post something, I should start a blog post, I should do a launch. And you do like these random things but there's no plan, you have no goal, you're not measuring your success. So I always bring people back to the fact of like, first, we need a goal. What is your mission for the next 90 days? Because the mission of building an audience for an upcoming book launch versus I need to make money because my business is in the negative, those are two very different marketing strategies. One, we have to be, maybe running ads to get 10,000 email subscribers so that you can get your book deal. The other strategy of I need to make money, if that's your goal, we're like, let's look at your warm leads. Let's really nurture them, get on sales calls, and only talk to the people who are already here because visibility is going to take months or maybe years to turn into clientele. So that's what I always start with is like, we need to have a goal before we can even consider what the right marketing plan is. As soon as we have the goal, we work backwards to really come up with what are those main ingredients that you feel you want to activate, because a lot of us are doing our own marketing. So it's like you have to have some excitement towards it. Otherwise, you show up to Instagram and you're like, so my business coach told me to post something. And like there's no energy behind it.
Yeah. And people feel that. I'm a huge energy person. So like people feel energy. We're all
Yep, absolutely. So yeah, and then of course we have to know that your dream clients are hanging out there, paying attention there, and that it's a platform that converts. Because so many people I talk to, I'm like, okay, so you've spent $4,000 on Pinterest, you've spent, 12 hours a week, and how many clients have you gotten from it? And if they say zero and it's been a year, it's kind of like, okay, why are we doing it then? Because you've gotten 90% of your clients from this other strategy. So sometimes just having some data can help.
My goodness, I'm so excited to have you on the podcast. I have a baby Kelly question because I always tell people my favorite thing about marketing is that you get to make someone feel something about a brand that they haven't before. And you had touched on the feelings, and I think it's so powerful marketing in a way, equally powerful positively or negatively, depending on how you do it and who's at the, waving the wand of the marketing genius. But question for you, because I was very young when I knew that I wanted to get into marketing. What did you want to do when you were baby Kelsey?
Oh my God. I love this question. And I don't talk about this a lot, but I actually wrote an email to my email list after having another conversation about a year ago. Because I had this vivid memory when someone else asked me, like, what did you want to be when you grew up? And I was like, I don't know what I wanted to be, but I remember taking one of these careers tests in grade 10 where you filled out this like really old school survey. And the career that was suggested for me was a chimney sweep. And I was like, what the actual F? And like all my friends made fun of me in grade 10. They were like, chimney sweep? And like, I guess that was still a thing back when I was, I don't know, that was like multiple decades ago. Now, like, I don't even think chimney sweep is a thing because people have electric fireplaces. But what I really thought about in that moment in grade 10 was, okay, I might never be a chimney sweep, but I think what they're getting at is like, you want a job where it's dynamic. You get to like go into people's homes. You're on your feet. You're climbing because I'm a very adventurous person. You're not sitting at a desk is kind of what I got my head around. And that always stuck with me of, I don't think I want a traditional job. I am at a desk and at my computer a lot now, but I'm still following a very untraditional path. So yeah, I didn't know what I wanted to be, but that kind of set me on the course of maybe I'll do something a little bit quirky in my life. And my whole career path has been a bit odd, I would say.
I need you to make this like a main story in your messaging because that's fascinating. Also, I don't know what I was expecting, but chimney sweep was not even in the top 50.
Top 5,000, honestly. I was like,
Forgot that was a thing ever. So I
Picturing you like with Mary Poppins though, like I feel like it could have been really fun if it turned into that kind of chimneys.
Absolutely. I could have made a really sick brand out of this. Like I could have filmed myself with a GoPro and made all these TikToks about me, like a bubbly 30-something mom as a chimney sweep.
I'd be watching your content specifically at like 2:22 in the morning, going down a rabbit hole and being like, wow, this is a whole world.
You know what? I might be onto something here. I might just shut down this marketing consulting thing and start
Scrap
my
it.
next career.
No, but like how chimney sweeping got me into marketing, I would also stop my scroll on that. Just
That's a
saying.
really good hook.
Please take it. Okay.
I will.
So obviously we're very excited to continue diving into the episode, and so excited that we just started asking you questions, and we skipped like the thing that we do always at the beginning of our episodes, which is our duality questions. The entire intention about this segment of the episode is really to, just for other listeners out there, understand that, hey, you're not alone experiencing the highs or the lows. Like as a business owner, social media is a highlight reel, and that's bullshit because half the time we're all having our own spiral and panic attacks behind the scenes. And they're hard to share in real time. So we want to honor the existence of duality because although there's so many things going right, there's so many things that are opportunities and we're figuring it out. So as the positive peak of this, what's been a recent high point, or this is why I do this moment in your business, something that reminded you exactly that you are exactly where you're meant to be?
Great question. A recent high for me was last week. We hosted an event with 70 female entrepreneurs in a very charming small town near where I live. And it was just so cool to gaze out, even though I was nervous and holding space for that many people and all the details that went into the day and the vendors and the speakers. Just being able to take 1 second off of being nervous through the day and looking around and being like, wow, there are so many women doing so many incredible things. And I feel grateful to be able to gather these communities and hold space that they can connect and grow their businesses. So that was a really high moment that was kind of the culmination of a lot of planning and event detailing.
I love this. I love this. Our Find Your Fuse brand started with events. And so just knowing that you're also in the heart posture of serving in that way is so beautiful. And I love that. And I will be asking you more questions about that because I think that's incredible. But
Same.
congratulations. I'm sure you served all of those women so, so, so well. That's amazing. Really amazing.
Thank you. Yeah.
I was going to say it's so easy for those days to come because of we know all the planning that goes into that. It's not easy. It's a labor of love, blood, sweat, and tears. It's so easy for the day to be there, and you're just trying to make sure it goes perfectly. That when the day's done, you're like, wait, I didn't actually enjoy it. So I think it's incredible that you did take that moment to go, pause, stop. I'm here. I did it, and this is cool.
Yeah. It was literally 1 second because I was so on edge all day being like, oh my God, they forgot someone's food order. Blah. But I did tell myself, stop every once in a while and don't just wish for the end of the day because you've spent so much in the planning. So to just want it to be over is not the right attitude. And it was just, yeah, exactly like you said, Brooke, back to the present for a second to just soak it in.
And I think
a second is really all it takes too, because you're able
to
yeah. Because you're I can't cry right now. I'm so proud, but there's too many other things happening. But I'm amazing. Yeah. This is amazing.
I did this, and I think that's something we could take into every facet of life too. Not even just events, but being a business owner, being a mom, being whatever it may be. We all can practice more presence and just hey, we're doing it. The to-do list isn't going to go anywhere, sadly. But also gratefully, all of it will still be there. You can take a second and just be.
Exactly.
So obviously it's a duality question. So on the low end of things, has there been a recent challenge or low point that you're oh man, balancing business and motherhood is hard or what have you? What would you say to that?
Always lots of lows. Yeah. We don't always share them online, but for some reason, the past 2 weeks, I feel like I've just had a lot of, how do I even say this? People who have been zapping my energy. And this might be a lack of my boundaries or just wanting to be a people pleaser. But yeah, from friendship to business partnerships, I've had people just say really odd things to me. And, I had someone tell me about the event that I just spoke to you guys about saying I loved it. I showed up. Someone said, yeah, you seemed really off. You were at 87% energy. And I was I felt amazing.
Karen.
entire
Excuse
day.
me.
But it really affected me. And then the comments that followed that, trying to explain what they meant about that, further insulted me. And it's so weird when you think you've like shown up, given your best as an entrepreneur, and then you get these like little chattering voices. And I'm always reminded, because this has happened to me so many times and I'm sure both of you feel this too. It's like the more you grow and put yourself out there, the more you're just subjecting yourself to everybody's opinion, right? Whether it's right or wrong or just an opinion. And I once heard this quote that said, the tallest tree always catches the most wind. And it essentially means like if the tree grows taller and taller above the forest, the wind is going to make it like sway. And I think that's a perfect analogy for the journey we're on as entrepreneurs. It's like as we start to rise above the previous version of ourselves and we're just like outputting more, we are going to catch more wind. And, do we want to let that knock us down and like break our spirit? No, it's going to happen though. And like you grow deeper roots and hopefully you become stronger out of that. So yeah, that was a recent low. I mean, I could share even more about that conversation, but it was one of those moments where I'm just like, I just want to crawl in a hole and die and maybe get mad and like lash out. But it's like, okay, what do I want to do to like be okay with this moment and to move forward and know that that's not necessarily a reflection of me, but perhaps them. So yeah, it's these little moments that are just kind of like, what the heck? But I have to move forward.
It's one of those things where like someone says that and my gut response is always like, what an odd thing to say. Like,
I know. The audacity, right?
but it is true. Like, honestly, even to continue with the tree metaphor, like, there is also something to be said about the fact that the tallest tree is also the one that stands out the most and it gets to be seen the most. And as you grow your business, you are putting yourself in that vulnerable state of being seen, which is so hard. But when people come to you and reflect mirrors of themselves, really, because that's exactly what it is, it's the reminder of like, this is a them issue, not a me issue. They're just projecting and they don't even know that they're projecting, but you can live
Yes.
within yourself on that.
Yeah, I always say there's a devil at every level, which is exactly the same as the tree metaphor. Like your tree metaphor literally gave me full body goosebumps because that's so, so true. And I hope and I pray any entrepreneur listening who's dealt with something similar, or maybe they haven't, but they're still growing, like know that it's okay. And there is a devil at every level, and you're still going to grow into it. And I loved what you said about you're just going to grow stronger roots and you're going to grow stronger and you're going to keep growing because you deserve that. I think that's beautiful. Thank you. And thank you for sharing so vulnerably about this low because we've all been there. And
We've all been there. And it
yeah,
needs
we
to be normalized, right? Because I don't want people
exactly.
to quit when these things happen because it's like it's the inevitable. It's just a matter of when is it going to happen, how often, and like, yeah, can you keep moving forward despite setbacks?
Yeah. I always ask myself when I get a comment from someone, would I trade lives with them? Because if the answer is no, then frankly, dear, I don't give a shit. And if the answer is yes, then okay, let me look into what they said a little more. Because maybe if they have a life that I want in some way, they've achieved what I wanted to achieve, maybe they're giving said feedback from a place that can actually help me. So let me dig a little bit more. But if not,
Bye.
bye. Yeah. Okay. So I really loved specifically your mention of zapping your energy. I want to dive a little bit more into that and just the conversation of energy zapping because it is so easy for people to zap your energy or drain you of your energy. What are your favorite habits to help protect your own energy and help you keep in a place of groundedness so that you can, in those moments stand back up and go, I can shake this.
Yes. I've had to get really good at this. So these are new skills, and it's just something I've been thinking about so much given the last few weeks of having these energy zappers, but really for like the better part of the last few years where I've gone from a 5-day work week down to 2.5 days. My energy mostly goes into being a mama and, being present at home and all the duties that come with that, but also having these big ambitions for my business and still wanting to like achieve the same growth and revenue, but realizing I'm in a bit of a different season. But I've had this like thought of can I bend time and what I think about time and what it means to be productive or to output a certain amount. And we've created these 8-hour work days and 40-hour work weeks, but like, does it have to be that way? And so specifically over the last 2 years, I've kind of become obsessive with what I call birthing time. So we all use this analogy of like, oh, I'm just killing time. Just killing time. Like I'll see a friend who's walking with their kid at the park and I'm like, what are you up to? Just killing time before nap. And I've said it. I'm sure you guys have said it. We've all just like let this roll out. And I'm like, well, if we can kill time, can we also birth it and like stretch minutes into what feel like longer? And so just something I've become obsessive about is tracking time. And many years ago, I hired a business coach. And one of the first things he said to me when I said, I'm so busy, I just want to keep growing, what do I do? He said, you need to do a time study. And that was the first time that I ever did one. And he had me track every 15 minutes, what was I doing? And it seemed so trivial at the time. I'm like, you want me to write down like snoozed my alarm again, snoozed my alarm again, got up and sat and drank coffee, scrolled my phone, drank coffee again. And like, that was 1 hour, right? Like it's every 15 minutes. And I did it. And this was 6 years ago. I did it for the first time. And I started noticing like how much time I was wasting, which is all well and good, right? Like, I don't think we need to have something income producing every 15 minutes. But in these seasons where you're stretched or you have less capacity or you have a big business goal, but you're not reaching it, I think it's really important to go, okay, well, how can I manipulate time here? And so I continue to do these time studies every quarter, so every 3 months. And I really observe like, what are the things that I need to offload or assign or delegate? And so I have a method called patching your time leaks, LEAK. So if we feel like we're leaking time, then we're probably not reaching our goals in the best way we can. So I either assign things an L, E, A, or K. So lose it, as in get rid of it, ease it. So can I make this easier? Like instead of grocery shopping myself, can I order online and have it delivered? Assign it is the A. So can I give this to my husband? Like, do I have to pay the bills every month? Or can I say, you take the hour, pay everything off, and then it's off my plate this month? Or keep it. So lose it, ease it, assign it, or keep it. And it's so crazy. If you can get your entire schedule down to keep, and eventually some of those things you're like, okay, I don't need to keep this. I can assign it. I can ease it and maybe go from a 4-hour in your week down to like 4 minutes. All of a sudden, your hours become income producing hours. And you can basically run your business in less time with more energy. And so I think we can identify a lot of energy zappers through using the time leak method. So yeah, that would be my biggest tip on identifying energy zappers and starting to get rid of them.
I don't think I could be more obsessed with this. There's several things here, so hold please. First thing you said, can I binge time? I think you changed my life in even just saying that, because yes, I am so guilty of saying killing time. Or actually, I have said that one. Let me backtrack. I'm guilty of saying kill time. I have said that before, but what I'm more guilty of is saying I'm so busy I don't have time. And I like
Totally.
the pivot of nope, I can bend time, because really everything's kind of made up when you really start to think about it.
Right. Oh my gosh, yes.
It really is. And I do believe I'm the woo-woo one that does believe time is linear and all happening at the same time. So like, and that's a whole quantum physics conversation we don't need to get into, but like, I love the idea of stop saying you're so busy, stop saying you don't have time, focusing on bending time. And I love your leak method. I think that is incredible. And with the snooze moment, I have heard of time studies. I have done them for myself ish before, but I can totally admit that after getting into a handful of hours of them, I think I get ashamed of my own reality and then just like stop.
Yes, true. Yep.
Because I did the math once, and if you snooze, and I also heard someone say, like a speaker say this, if you snooze your alarm once a day for 8 minutes for a year, every day, that is 48 hours worth of time. What can you do
God.
2 days of time for half-baked sleep? Like, I know in that moment, those 8 minutes feel so luxurious. And hell, I snoozed this morning, I'll admit it. Those minutes feel luxurious, but like in the reality of sleep quality, you're not really getting restful sleep in that 8 minutes. But 2 days worth of time back in your life,
huge.
That's a lot.
I will be doing this immediately. Like this will be started immediately when we get off this recording, because I'm a huge snoozer. I'm the worst snoozer, but I don't want to wear that badge proudly. So I appreciate that, because I think I will look at it and I will get disgusted at like, okay, I have been sipping coffee for 30 minutes. Like I could be sipping coffee and doing something or something. So I actually really love that. And especially like the assigned thing. As our team grows, even at Fuse, Brooke and I are dealing with what did we delegate today? And if it's nothing, I will look at it and be like, dang it, you guys need to delegate something every day. So I love this. And I'm excited. We will put obviously that analogy in the show notes for everybody. But wow, sir, thank
And I
you.
have a free template. You can go to kelseyreidl.com/time and I send you the exact template you can use with the leak method.
Okay, we will be putting
Amazing.
that link in the show notes, slash I will be downloading it myself. Because
Yeah.
I also think the cool thing here too is like, and you said it, like there is time, space, and intention to just resting and not doing anything. Obviously, you need that restful time, but I am the worst at when I am resting thinking about work. And
Yeah.
if you do this and you get your time back basically because you realize where you're wasting it, you're actually creating more time for real rest because you're not having to stress about the things that you aren't doing right now instead of sitting trying to cosplay that you're resting and drinking your coffee. But in reality, you're like, oh my God, I have to send this email and I have to do this and I have to do this and I have to do this. Like that's not
Yep.
rest. So I think this is incredible.
Exactly. Yeah, it almost goes back to what we were saying earlier about being present in your life, right? And so if we want to have presence where we're not actually thinking about all the things that, we have in our work to-do list, it's nice to know that, oh, I have dedicated work hours, I spent my time well, and I feel good about what I accomplished. I got it all done. Now I can move on to the other bits of my life that are non-work related.
Magic.
Literally
Magic.
amazing. Especially like the amount of people listening to this, myself included, hearing a 2-day work week, like it almost seems fantastical. Like there's
Yes.
no, that's just for Kelsey. No, I can't do that. I'm running this kind of business. It's not the same. What do you tell other people in your circle or just other entrepreneurs really about that? And it probably starts with priorities, right? You're like, I want the other days of the week to be with my family, with my babes.
Yeah.
But tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. I'm grateful because I was forced into it. Like I thought I had prepared for maternity leave, but then my son arrived and I was just like, oh my goodness, like I have a plan, but I don't. And I really had to figure it out quick. I guess a few things that I would say. Number one, like you said, Brooke, we make up time. Like there's a great book called The Timekeeper by Mitch Albom. And it's really the story of time and where it came from. And it really made me rethink like why we are so addicted to like certain time frames and schedules. So that would be number one is that like, there are ways to just like reorganize time in your brain. Number two, it's not for all businesses to just be able to cut back to 50% of your working hours. But if you have a simple business, and what I call a simple business is that you are really focusing on selling one product or service to one type of audience using one simple marketing plan that has proven to be effective for as long as you need to make your first $500 million. So this means not launching a million offers, not providing custom packages to every single client, not falling prey to the latest social media platform, but instead focusing on like, hey, what are the top 3 lead gen sources for your business? Just do those 3 really well and ignore the rest and don't even worry about it. So I would say you have to have a simple business. And then the third thing that I would say is make it your mission to show up and talk. And what I mean by that is a lot of us, and probably a lot of your clients, we get paid for speaking gigs or showing up for client calls to be the face and to be the one that's selling a new client on their package, to do the monthly reviews with them. And that's really the most important thing that so many of us can do as founders is show up, talk, build relationships, go out to a networking event, be on a podcast. Everything else, try to assign it or lose it or ease it. Delegate it. So that means admin stuff, delegate it. Financial stuff, try to delegate it. Grocery shopping, delegate it. Styling yourself, cleaning your home. And these are things that took me 9 years to get to because I was like, I have to grocery shop. I only clean my own toilets. Like, I don't need someone doing that. I will hold on to my bookkeeping because I can do it. And it was horrifying to pay people to step in and help me. But I think in order to reduce your working hours 50%, you have to really get comfortable asking for help and really prioritize showing up and talking.
I fear you're speaking directly to our souls in this conversation.
We could stop the episode now and just be like, Kelsey, thank you so much. Like, this was incredible. Yeah, you're speaking directly to us.
Yeah. Yeah, my husband and I were even talking about it recently when it comes to our like home, and even like he and I are both huge cookers. We love cooking. There is nothing that feeds our
Totally.
souls more than trying a new recipe or having friends over and cooking for people. Oh, everything in the world.
Yeah.
Daily
Love that.
cooking, survival cooking is what I call it.
Survival
Like,
cooking.
survival cooking. Like, I have to eat every day, and I love food. I'm a foodie, so like I also like can't do a survival meal. Like, I'm not gonna eat. I mean, I ate butter noodles once last week, but like really, that's not me. Like, I need something. I want to love every meal. So my husband and I were having a discussion, and we're not there yet, but we were talking about like how can we remove some decision fatigue from our life so that we can focus
Yes.
that energy and intention on decisions that matter and move the needle towards our goals. And cooking would be a big one. Like, keep the fun cooking that we love, but outsource the daily, like the weekly meal prep. Like, what would it look like to have? And we're not really into like the factor services or anything like that. Like, I would rather like pick my
Yeah,
meal and
same.
be like, someone come cook this for me, which is like sounds crazy. The idea of hiring like a chef or something once a week feels insane and so far off, but like, does it
Totally.
have to be, or is that just a belief, you know?
Yep. You're right. And it could be far off, but what I love about doing the time study is it starts to bring things that are like, okay, so this is a big burden on our life. We love cooking, but it's taking away 8 hours. Would there be a world in which we could ease this burden a bit? And perhaps I could spend 4 more hours doing client delivery stuff that would make us more money. And so it's like when you review your time study, you might think, there's no way I can outsource this stuff, but at least you plant the seed for maybe there is a solution. And then it's like your brain starts to work to look for solutions and problem solve it. And maybe it'll take 5 years before you hire that meal prepper chef, but at least you're starting to like form these new synapses in your brain that, well, maybe it's possible because other people do it. So if
Yeah.
that's my priority to offload first, I'll make it work.
Yeah. Speaking it into existence. And I also love the intention here of like, not that I want to promote people becoming workaholics and like, let's make our lives to where all we get to do is work and make money.
Exactly.
But I like, a lot of times I feel like business owners first go to, where in my business can I offload things? And I do think that is important, but there really is so much chores and daily life things, like bringing your animal to the vet. I love my animals. They're my favorite thing in the
Yep.
world, but like, you could hire someone to do that for you.
Absolutely. Yep.
So getting your time back in that way, I think
Yes.
it's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, as we're on kind of a mindset shifting moment, what would you say is a big connection between growth and success with mindset and marketing?
A connection that I want people to make between mindset and marketing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this is something I think about a lot because two businesses could follow the exact same marketing plan and speaking to the same audience, but they could have drastically different outcomes. And what I really attribute a lot of that to is whether they have the mindset of experimentation is good versus experimentation is scary, bad, not worth it. So what I mean by that is, say one business owner, I'm like, okay, we're going to start with Instagram Reels and you're going to send people to a webinar and then hopefully like convert them on your webinar. If they have a mindset of experimentation, which is kind of like okay, well, if this fails, it's just data, right? It's an experiment. They go into it, they test a bunch of reels, some of them flop, but that doesn't derail them. They go on the webinar and they're like, okay, well, I've never taught this before, but let me see who joins. Let me cater this to them. Let me kind of have some fun with it. Okay, now I'm going to do my sales pitch at the end. Let me experiment with reading a script. Doesn't feel natural, but I'll try it. Okay, I got one client out of it. It's like this whole journey, right? And I love when people come into their marketing plan with that mindset of experimentation. Whereas another type of client would come to me and I would say, okay, let's try Instagram Reels. And they're like, okay, well, I need to like plan out everything perfect and they're scripting. And 4 weeks later, I'm like, have you posted anything yet? And they're like, oh no, I still don't know what the code is and how to lead in with a hook. And I'm like, okay, but we also need to teach the webinar because nobody even knows about your business. And they're like, well, I'm still building the slide deck. I'm like, well, should you practice it? No, I need another few months. And then a few years go by. And I'm like, they never experimented. And so There's so many angles of mindset that I think are important in business, but specifically, I love speaking to the experimentation mindset because you could reach your goals so much faster if you came into your business with that mindset of experimentation, that experiments are not good or bad. They just give us data on like, did we find the solution or did we not? And then what's the next experiment we're going to run?
I love using experimentation as a word.
Yes.
We like to say like we love failing forward because if you're not trying, like you're not going to learn. And it's exactly the same with experimentation. I think Brooke and I talk a lot about confidence in marketing. And I think that's a huge piece where people just don't feel confident. And that's why they're like, no, 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 one more month. I haven't finished the slide deck, right? There's like a piece of them that's really terrified to fail. But also it's confidence of like showing up and being crystal clear on your why and who you're serving and how what you're doing and putting it in the market can really love on people in such an amazing way. And so I am obsessed with the experiential physical word of that because that made everything kind of click together. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
I also think it's incredible. I think so many things are linked, and like I am just a very woo person, and I always have been. But like there is just something about like, yeah, like you can copy someone in every vein and not get the same results if it's not truly aligned to you and your mindset's not actually behind it. And I think that's true for everything in life.
So, so true.
So shifting kind of back into like a marketing focused conversation a little bit, you are known for making marketing fun. And what does that actually look like to you in practice?
hmm Well, let me kind of rewind a bit. So I mentioned earlier in this podcast that I started my career in experiential marketing, and I remember when I got hired into the role, the hiring manager basically said, like, we are looking to bring this greens powder, which 15 years ago, a greens powder was very like nobody wanted to try it. And it kind of scared people off if you showed them like a sample of a green drink and you're like, hi, would you like to try this? People were like, ew, like, why is there grass in a cup? Only hippies drank wheatgrass.
I'm not
Exactly.
doing that. Yeah. Yeah. Well, they also didn't taste as good back then. I feel like they've
And it
really
didn't taste.
come a long way.
That is true. Like AG1, athletic greens, like they really normalized drinking a green drink, but back then it tasted off putting.
Tasted like a
So
green drink. Yeah.
it's come a long, long way. So yeah, when I got hired into this role, like the whole goal was to make this green drink something that people wanted to try. And so we decided like let's bring some fun into these campaigns so that we seem like a really warm team and people can come chat with us. And so one of the examples I used in my hiring interview, because I really wanted this job for experiential marketing manager for Ontario, Canada. And she said, do you have any experience in experiential marketing? And I'm like, no, I'm pretty green to this. I was a demo rep for the company, so I knew what it was to work for the brand. But what I said was, I do have experience as someone who's interacted with experiential marketing. And I rewinded to when I was like 9 years old. I was at this theme park and there was something called the Pepsi Taste Challenge. I don't know if you guys ever did that. No? Okay, so Pepsi used to have these activations and it was called the Pepsi Taste Challenge. And it was like this huge booth. They set it up at theme parks in Canada. And, there was a whole street team there. There was music. There was misters because it was on hot, sunny days. And the whole goal was that they gave you two samples of cola. One was Pepsi and one was Coke. But they placed like these covers over it and they would say, okay, now try this sample. So you'd take a sip of one cola, try this sample, you'd take a sip of the other one, and then you would say which one you liked better. And then when you chose, they would reveal which one was Coke and which one was Pepsi. And if
Amazing.
you said Pepsi, they would like shower you with gifts. And I remember getting like a little scratch ticket card where I won swag. And if you said Coke, you still got showered with gifts. And they're like, oh, you like Coke better, but all good. You know, it was really cool. And I remember seeing it multiple times throughout the summer, and we would always interact with it. And I went to the grocery store with my mom sometime later, and we were a Coke family. Like if you opened our fridge, it was only Coke. You only drink Coke or Pepsi. Like you don't have both usually. And I remember she was pulling Coke off of the shelf at the grocery store. And I was like, Mom, can we buy Pepsi? And she's like, okay, Kelsey. I'm like, put the Coke back and bought Pepsi in that moment because I had such a good, fun experience with the brand that I was like, I don't know. I just want to be part of it. Like it just, and so I shared that example at my hiring interview. And I guess they really liked it because I got the job, even though I had very little experience. And so, what I tried to do through my role at this greens protein powder company was make marketing more fun and to look for ways that, as simple as adding music to our tents, wearing shirts with fun slogans on them. We had a blender bike. So you pedal the bike and it would stir up the smoothie. And it was just all these little things that made us seem like a fun, accessible brand that you wanted to interact with. So, I mean, there's a million different nuanced things in the digital world that you can do to make marketing fun. But I think if you can just bottle up that energy of the Pepsi Taste Challenge, and it's like, why was that so fun for people? And try to bring that into everything you do in your own creative ways. I think that's kind of my mission and making marketing fun and just more joyful for people. So, yeah.
It really is bringing that experience to life. And I think there is a really beautiful magic of you always pulling back into that. Because I bet you think about that every time you see a Pepsi ad, every
Yes,
time you drink Pepsi, every time you're at a bar and someone has Pepsi across from you, you think about
totally.
that. And I
Yep,
think there's such magic, again, in the feeling that they gave you and you were young to feel that and then take that forward. Beautiful. I love that experience. And also in a digital realm, it's exactly the same. Like how are you making someone experience something, even if it is just scrolling on a screen? How can you make someone experience something that is so impactful? That
exactly.
is marketing. And so I love that. And also Brooke and I are huge fans of like silly, goofy shirts and wearing
Yes,
them
I love that.
out in public.
Maybe we should all just be wearing silly shirts with our own brand more often. Like, I don't know about you guys. I don't rep my own brand, but I should.
We basically had these shirts that said "Find your fuse" on the front, and then in the back it said "Shit got messy," and it was an arrow that pointed to a QR code. And people came on it, like they would scan the QR
Shit
code and it
got
would
messy.
them.
I'm so
Yeah.
curious what the QR code led to now.
And
See,
we had people scan it. We had people stopping us, and we were both wearing it. So like, since we were wearing it together, that also like helped the moment. And people scanned to the website,
Yep.
and it was a promo for our podcast. It was like entrepreneurship is messy. Like there's highs, there's lows, there's everything between. You should listen to the Find a Few podcast. Or we were looking for guests. You should share your female founder story because it was a female founder event. And it worked.
Brilliant.
And people remember this. And the amount of people, we were called the QR girls that event because
Which is
people
great.
remembered us for it. Correct.
totally.
Please call me the QR girl. Like if it makes you remember me, bet that's my name.
That is so clever, you guys. Oh my God, I want to steal that idea. Just the
Go
fact that it
ahead.
was like a curiosity provoking hook and people were like, "Can I scan that?" And then all of a sudden they're like, "Okay, well of course I'm going to subscribe to their podcast since
Yeah.
I'm already here." So brilliant. And something so simple that costs you like $20.
Legitimately. And people
Literally.
are innately nosy. Like, and I don't mean that in a rude way. I said that to someone once and they were like, "Don't call me nosy." And I'm like, "Okay, I don't mean that in a rude way, but hi, we all love everyone else's drama. Like, because it's not my drama. So of
Yep.
course we want
Yep.
to know what's on the other side of that. So it
Totally.
works and it brings people in. And I think what's fun is it just like, and I know y'all both touched on it, but like it just gives people a reason to remember you
Exactly. Yep.
and something different.
So good.
And they're being sold to, but they don't even know. One of my favorite experiential marketing things that I have seen, I actually didn't even get to experience it myself. I only learned about it through social media, and I'm still hooked on it. Is the Astoria Waldorf in Amsterdam. At their hotel, when you check in, it's just a beautiful hotel. But at their hotel, when you check in, they present you with an options of different scents. I think they have 3 options, and you get to pick what scent you want to represent your stay. And so when housekeeping comes in, that scent is sprayed on your pillow. That scent is like the one that they have in your shower, and that scent is like evolved around your entire experience. And then when you leave, they give you just like a small little sampler. Like it's nothing crazy, a small little sampler of it. But the intention here is every time you smell that, you're going to think about your stay, and you get to be a
So
part of
good.
the experience by picking which one you want. And I haven't even gotten to experience it, but since I know that is happening, whenever I go back to Amsterdam, I will be staying there because it is just something different from the mundane
Yeah.
check-in process. And I think it's fascinating.
It's so clever too. And I think that's something that is really hot right now in marketing is like personalization and customization. It's like in that moment, the customer has the choice and they get to make a decision, feel empowered, feel special. And even though it's just 3 options, they still feel like it's like a unique experience for them. So yeah, I love that like choose your own adventure style marketing that gives people a chance to get involved in the journey.
1000.
Exactly. Exactly. And honestly, at the end of the day, it's all about them.
Yeah,
It really is. So
true.
that's our job, that's their job. It's all about the customer. And so little ways that you can make them feel special. I'm obsessed. On the marketing vein, I know you have a method that you teach people, and it's the 3 M's of marketing. Can you tell us about that?
Absolutely. So, yeah, it almost wraps up a few of the things that we've talked about today. So, when people want to start with a marketing strategy, I always rewind and first say, okay, we need to tackle the 3 M's because usually they just want me to like rush into like building them their meta ads and like just figure it out, Kelsey. And I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We got to go back to the first 2 M's, which are number one, what is your mission? So I shared this at the beginning. We need to know what is the business goal, what is the marketing goal, because without a goal, we have no idea what the outputs need to be. So that's M number one. Number two, we touched on is mindset. So, like, what mindset do you need to have going into this goal? If your mission is to like have 100,000 clients and you only have one, your mindset really needs to be I'm in a growth season. I'm going to say yes to opportunities. I'm going to experiment. I might fall flat on my face and the goal may take longer than I think, but really preparing yourself for like what that gap is going to take and just addressing some of the mindset blocks that may hold us back, that want us to play small, to not be visible, to not be vulnerable. There's so much that goes into having successful marketing, especially if you are the face of your brand. So mindset is the second M. And then the third M is the main ingredients. So these are, the ingredients of your marketing funnel that we're going to prioritize. And I talked about scatterbrain marketing earlier. So I really find that if you just have 3 to 5 main ingredients, meaning you have a search engine optimization strategy, an Instagram strategy, and maybe a in-person networking. Those 3, I just realized I have a sticker on my hand from my son. I'm like, what is this?
Earlier, and I was
So
wondering, but I was
cute.
like, I like stickers.
At least it wasn't like on my face the whole time.
I wouldn't have touched it. I'd have been like, go off.
Yeah, main ingredient being humor in all that you do.
Seriously.
Yeah, so having your main ingredients that you're mixing up over a 90-day time frame and saying, okay, we're going to hedge our bets that, networking, Instagram, and search engine optimization paired with like, a middle of funnel and bottom of funnel strategy, we think that is going to help us reach our mission, and then you test it out. So those are the 3 M's. And I usually go in that order. Like, let's decide on the mission because people really want to start with the businessy stuff. Then I ease into the mindset stuff, which is kind of like, you got to address this, but nobody really wants to. And then mix up the main ingredients and get them off to the races with the strategy.
I love it. I love it. Do you, when it comes to success with marketing,
Yeah.
with your clients, with yourself, are there any key metrics that you absolutely always report on at your monthly meetings or anything?
Yeah, such a great question. So I think that anything you are spending time, energy, money, or your bandwidth on, you have to be measuring it. So that can look different for every single brand. But if we are, say, focusing on search engine optimization, we're going to look at things like your monthly website traffic, your click through rate from search engines like Google, time on site or bounce rate. And in addition to the quantitative data, we always pick a qualitative metric. Did I enjoy the process of writing 3 blogs a week? Because sometimes the person is actually doing it. Maybe they haven't outsourced it or can't afford to. And if they're like, I effing hated it, Kelsey. I just basically used ChatGPT and, it pumped out mediocre AI slop and I put it on my website and it's not performing. I'm like, yeah, that's probably why you didn't see any results. But on the contrary, they might be like, I just feel so good when I write and I have so many ideas. I hate Instagram. I love blogging. And look at this. I'm actually starting to rank for all these key search terms and we can see the data going up and up and up. And so in that case, I'm like, okay, amazing. Like our quantitative KPIs and our qualitative metrics are like matched up. Let's continue down this path. So yeah, I love measurement. It's like the less sexy part of marketing, but I think it's really important for any business to be measuring their monthly metrics.
It is. And I love that you bring in the qualitative so much because, and even again, mentioned the mindset portion of it earlier, because there is a portion too that when it comes to setting these goals, if you don't believe they're possible, they will not be possible. And I think like
True.
having these conversations and leaning into what is your quantitative, what is your qualitative, what is your goal, and then like diving into like, do you believe that you can actually do this? Like, do you believe you can actually grow 100,000 followers in 2 months or whatever your example was earlier?
Yep.
If the belief isn't there, that's actually where you need to start more than anything,
Yeah.
because you're going to not see the opportunities that are coming to you to make it happen if you don't believe it. So I love that intention and focus.
Yeah. It's an important part of the conversation. And yeah, I know like we call it woo or whatever, but I'm like, I think this is just so I don't know how you guys feel about this, but over the last 5 or 10 years, maybe we were just like sold this dream of like either just work hard, follow this plan, step 1 through 10, and you'll be a millionaire. Or we were sold this dream of sit on the beach, manifest, attract, align, abundance, uh, femininity. I don't even know what these buzzwords are, whatever. And like that was the way to $1 million a year. And I'm like, it's always been both.
1000%.
And
Yes,
now we
and
have to call it out, right? Like the three of us are having this conversation of like, this is a bit woo, but like now we want to talk strategy. And it's like, it's always been both, but somehow we got pulled in different directions of like, follow my step-by-step plan or sit on the beach and manifest, align, and attract. And it's like, what? Isn't there a balance?
Have a deep amount of beef actually with all of the content, because I find it so damaging, because then you end up
My
with the
God.
business owners who are sitting there and going, I'm working 24/7 and I meditate, like I'm doing all of the things that y'all are saying to do, or I'm not working and I'm meditating 30 hours a day, and I love meditation. I know there's not even 30 hours in a day, but that's my point. Like I'm meditating 30 hours a day and I'm not attracting my $1 million whatever. And I think it's so damaging because it's setting expectations that aren't real. And again, huge beef, because no, if you are working on your nervous system and working on your beliefs and working on your mindset about things and doing the meditation and the journaling and the energy work, it always has to be paired with action if it's actually going to get you anywhere. Because if not, like things aren't going to just fall on your lap. And I don't say that from a place of lack. I think opportunities can just appear, but the only reason that's falling on your lap is because you're feeling safe enough in your body to believe that you're worthy of it and capable of it. And you're also keeping your eyes open to the opportunities and accepting them and taking action towards them. So yes, I will talk about that for hours on hours, because
Same.
it is both. It is divine and feminine, or sorry, it is masculine and feminine energies that you need to merge to see the success. And if any person out there is saying all you need to do is meditate your way to a million,
Yeah.
bullshit.
Bullshit. I know. I'm glad that we're able to have it. Like, I always feel so good when I find other people who are just like thinking in a more grounded, irrational state. And it's like, yeah, yes, and right. It can be
yes,
both, like you said, Kelly.
yeah, I think we all do all of the things, right? I think there is power in manifestation. There's power in prayer. There's power in journaling and really dreaming. But then it's that faithful action that you take next. Like, great,
Yes.
what are the strategies that you need to do to get to your $1 million a year? Amazing. There's work involved. And again, if someone is listening and they're like, no, 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 I just sit on the beach all day and money just like shows up in suitcases next to me. Tell us
Teach us.
how you're doing
Truly,
that.
truly teach me.
Yeah, you can come on the podcast. We'll sell all those secrets. But
Yeah.
I think it is a beautiful way. And I also love meeting people that aren't like, no, I can just hang out and money just falls from the sky, or I pluck
I
it from the
know.
tree in my backyard.
I can't stand that narrative. And maybe I'm just not cracking the code on how to sit under my tree and make money. But yeah, when people say stuff like that, I don't know. Like, I want to lean into more of that. And just like, I do think that when you are in an aligned state and living with like true value that you're providing to the world, and you are, doing things out of joy and happiness, great. But I'm also not shy about saying that like building a business that provides you with great revenue I think it does take hard work, at least for a certain stage of life.
Yes.
And in those early days, especially. So, yeah, I never want to get the narrative wrong of like, it's just easy. And I started with a 2-day work week. It's like, oh God, no, it was never easy. Let me tell you more.
Literally, that is the intention of this podcast, to share that reality more, because it's all you see on social media. And I do agree, I think it is starting to shift a little bit, but like, you see so much of overnight successes, or what looks to be an overnight success, and like, people don't know the real story that's behind that, and the years of, again, both mindset and physical hard work that they put into getting to that. But I think it is just such an important piece. And the way I love to look at it, like, because I love, like, I'm a Kelly knows if I skip my meditation in the morning, because like, I'm grumpy, and like, not even purposely grumpy, like my energy is grumpy. Like, it is such a big piece of me. And the only reason they're so helpful is because, yes, it's a great moment for your mind and stillness and visualizing and whatever it may be. But like, you can, when you're tapped into that side of you, I find that you get more downloads and just these crazy ideas that come through. And then, and you can put in the hard work with that idea and go, oh my God, like, that would be an incredible series to start, or offer to launch, or whatever it may be. But the physical work action takes over from there. Like, the download only came to me because I gave myself that like feminine,
True.
flowy, divine space to sit there and receive it.
Yes.
But I have to take it into action now. I can't just keep thinking about it and expect it to happen.
Yes. Yeah. And I will actually just, share very vulnerably right now that because I'm working 2 days a week and because every hour is a show up and talk hour, it's not a season where I'm getting a lot of downloads, and I'm the least creative I've ever been. I'm making more money than ever before, but this is not necessarily the sexiest season of business because nothing's flowing through. Like, my time is sold. I have outsourced a lot, and I don't want to be in this season forever, but it allows me to be a present mom where I do get creative ideas, but I don't get to go sit at coffee shops and just, chill like I once did. And that's my favorite thing to do. I don't really go on coffee dates with girlfriends anymore. That's why I join virtual masterminds. So my business hours are very like, taken up. But then I have my whole personal life where I truly just try to sink into life. I go biking, I go paddleboarding, hang out with my husband, my family. But yeah, like, there is this creative side of me that wants more of those days eventually to just sit in the coffee shop, read about marketing, take courses, learn, expand. So yeah, I feel like I have to share that side of the narrative too, because yeah, like, that is such a beautiful season of business too, to have those downloads come through and then to do the hard work to take action on them. So again, it's like seasons of business, right? I'm in a season where it's like, I'm just using every minute to its max, but that's not always the best season to be in either. So, maybe it's always just about sussing out, where am I at? What are my goals?
Thank you for sharing that. Like, I think that's incredible. And honestly, I didn't even know that from this conversation. So thank you for sharing that, because it is true. Like, life is seasons, literally.
Yeah.
Everything in life is
Yeah.
seasons, our physical seasons. And the one thing that's true about a season is they will have starts and they will have ends. And it's very interesting to kind of
Mm,
be where your feet at are in that moment and enjoy, like, okay, because of all of the work you put in and putting yourself into the season, yes, maybe you're not getting the creative fulfillment, but you are gaining all of this time back with your family and in your life, which is incredible. But there will be a point when maybe that does want to shift back to, like, you know what, maybe I'll add a third day where clients
yes.
don't get to have me at all, but I get to just be a marketer
Yes.
by myself, with myself, in a coffee shop, living, laughing, loving. And I think,
Yes.
yeah, I love the intention of seasons here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I am so glad we're having this conversation because it's just, yeah, the realness of, not every season's going to look the same. And it's okay to be like, yeah, there's highs and lows to this season, and to not shy away from sharing the full journey of it.
And I feel like the remembrance too, and I guess this is the presence of like remembering you prayed for it at one point. And I always have these moments of like, oh, I wish I can go back to how I was back then in this moment. And then I have to snap myself out and go, no, no, no. That version of me was praying for this version of me.
Oh my
So
gosh.
what,
Great reminder.
yeah, like what can we maybe take from that past version of yourself to bring into this moment, but also know that like that past version of you is like, what are you saying, crazy lady? I love your life. Stop. Like, be where
Mm,
you are.
I love it. So cool.
Yeah, so especially in the seasonality that we're in, and in, like you even said, like, I wish I had more creative time. Would you still say, like, right now, this is such a successful moment in time? right? I think success is also a linear moment of it's successful. I'm making more money than I ever have, but then you're like, but I wish I had this. So right now, how would you say life is successful?
Right now, life is successful for me because I really do get to prioritize being with my son. And I don't take that lightly because I know even in the US, you guys have very short maternity leaves for people who have more corporate jobs. And then us self employed people, whether we're in Canada or the US, we just don't get mat leaves at all. So oftentimes there is a rush to return to work. And I did return to work after 1.5 months. I started working 2 hours a week. But it's still people were like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't know what to do. I can't just disappear from my business." The other end of that equation is that now that I'm 2 years into being a mom, I've still never returned to work full time. So even though I returned earlier, I've really just slowly added in a few hours. And so success to me right now is having true time freedom. I still trade time for money, which, is a whole other conversation that I'd love to have someday, that because a lot of people say you don't want to trade time for money. I'm like, well, sometimes you do. But yeah, success to me right now is having Mondays, Thursdays, and Fridays with my son. He's napping right now. So this is what I call my 2.5 day work week because I'll make time from 1 until 2:30 p.m. To do work bits. Today, this is recording a podcast for you guys and with you guys. So yeah, I think success is really feeling like I have time freedom, that I understand how I want to spend my time because I study it a lot, and that I feel good about the season I'm in, which is I'm not in a rocket ship growth season. I've been in many seasons and masterminds where like growth at all costs is the goal. And it's like bigger, 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 better, better, bigger, higher, more. And this is the first time in my business that I'm like, maintenance. Maintenance is great. And I almost feel weird saying that. They're like, yeah, I'm just going to coast this year, and not coast because still working hard, but basically be content with staying where I'm at or maybe declining a little bit. And so that is successful to me, even if the numbers at the end of the year, or even if on paper it doesn't look like the most insane growth year. I'm okay with that because I've chosen a different path to go forward. And I know what my priority is, which is family at this season.
What
I
I
think
find,
that's absolutely incredible. And I pray that all of the entrepreneurs listening understand that, because it is so easy to get discouraged when you're not constantly growing. When you are sustaining and you're having a successful business, but you're just in a sustaining route, that is
Hmm.
okay.
It's
And I
okay.
think you're beautiful proof of that it's okay, and that you can sustain that and you can still live the life that you love outside of your business without like, no, 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 if I'm making 1 million, but I'm a failure because I'm not making 2 million. I'm proud of you as a human, just
Thank
in the
you.
same industry. That's huge. And I needed to just like extra shout that one out.
yeah,
Thank you.
I legitimately was going to say the same thing because it's very much this moment of it's so natural for us to feel like we need to go, yeah, like I'm doing this, but I promise I'm still working hard and I'm doing this, and I am okay with this. And I think it's important to have this conversation to know, like, hey, like success looks different for every single person. And the fact that you get to work the very intentional but minimal hours that you get to work so you have more time to be a mom and live life is incredible. And it's more than enough. And I think so many women out there, especially, feel like nothing we do is ever enough. And it's like,
Totally.
okay, but I should be able to be a mom and do this full time and do this full time and still be growing $30 million every year or whatever it may be. And
Yep.
maintenance is enough. Being able to say like I get to like be there for my kid growing up is incredible. And I am personally very grateful for everything you just shared, because it's something that I'm thinking about a ton. Like my husband and I, like, we don't have kids yet, but it is a very high on the list priority conversation. And it's something I'm constantly thinking about, because you're right, like in entrepreneurship you don't get a traditional maternity leave that you would from a corporate experience. And how does that look? I know I work far too much right now to be a mom. Like, there's
Totally.
no way. There's no way. I barely feed myself most days. Like, so I
Yep.
think about it all the time. So thank you for sharing that. And it really is a beautiful reminder that like sustainability and maintenance is enough, and there doesn't need to be a but I promise or but like it's enough.
It's enough. Yep. So true. So true.
Yeah. Okay, so thank you for your time today. And we want to wrap this episode, and then you'll be able to share where people can find you, but with my personal favorite question that we ask every guest who comes on. And it's, if you could go back and sit across from yourself at the start of this journey, so maybe even the grade 10 version of yourself who thought she was going to be a chimney sweeper, not really. But before everything, before the marketing, before the experiential marketing, before the marketing firm you have now, before being a mom, what would you tell her?
I would tell her to play the long game. And what I mean by that is in those early years, it can be so tumultuous. I feel like younger entrepreneur Kelsey, like, just kind of leapt into it. I didn't really have a plan. I just started selling social media services. And, everything I did, I kind of wanted immediate result because I'm like, is this going to work? Do I feel validated doing this? Do I have to go back to my corporate job? But more and more that I've realized that everything we do as business owners, like, we're playing the long game. We want to see those massive returns on our investment by eventually growing and growing and growing the business to the point where it's compounded into something we can barely imagine in those first few years. And, of course, there are anomalies to that and people have overnight success. But for most of us, it's like we incrementally improve every year. We have these, revelations about the business that we want and don't want and what sells and what doesn't. And we learn so much along the journey. And it's like that analogy of hockey stick growth. It's like, you're kind of just planting seeds. And I don't just mean this in terms of revenue growth. It's like personal growth and, who you become in the process. It can feel like, the first few years, it's like things are slow. I think I'm enjoying this, blah, blah, blah. But it does come this tipping point where you're just like, I'm so glad that everything I did, I played the long game, whether it was building, your search engine optimization, building your community, starting events and growing them out to 100 or 500 attendees. Stay with anything, and if you don't quit, you'll be the last one in the game while everybody else quit, and you're bound to be successful. So every year gets better, every year gets easier, but has new challenges. So stay in it for the long haul, make sure you love it, and don't be afraid to pivot ever so slightly.
I adore this answer. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. And the stay in it for the long game and just be the last one standing is something that I say to myself all the time. Especially in hard seasons where maybe business is slowing down. And that's true in a lot of industries right now. If
Totally.
you don't quit and you stay, you will be the one left. And it really is a keep going reminder. I love that. Yeah. So thank you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you guys. That was so fun.
It was incredible. And I pray that for anyone listening that it served you, whether you're a business owner or intrigued about starting a business, whatever it may be. Where can people find you?
Yeah, I am everywhere at Kelsey Reidl, kelseyreidl.com. So that's where you can find me and connect with me.
Amazing. Thank you, Kelsey, so much.
Awesome. Thank you guys. It was so fun. I only wish we could hang out longer and go grab coffee and hang out in person.
Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. We have new episodes coming out every Thursday, so we will catch you in one of the next ones.
And please take some time, follow us on @FindYourFuse or email us at info@findyourfuse.com for all inquiries and all exciting things that you want to chat with us about. We love building this community and we love you. Take some time and leave a review. Anything above 5 stars, we'd love it. But really, we appreciate you and we appreciate your feedback in any form because the more feedback we can get, the better we'll get. Okay, love you. Bye.